We're live.
Good morning, good morning. There you go. It's
That's
vision
it.
and
Now
everything.
you can see us and everything, not just hear us going, we're live.
Morning, morning all. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Amazing. Another day.
What's this morning? Nice.
Yeah, we're all feeling the love here at Natasha Makes. How are you? Have you had a lovely morning? It is Workshop Wednesday, Jane.
It is.
And we have fabrics to love.
We do.
And a quilt to love. Now this isn't its full size.
No, it's not.
Because there was absolutely no point in making its full size because it wouldn't fit on the wall.
No.
It's a big one.
It's Leesa's Bedrunner. Now that would fit on my bed already, so I don't know what size Leesa's bed is. It will come over the sides, I'm assuming.
It's going to be, it's like a wraparound kind of Bedrunner.
Yeah.
But you can make it any size you wish. How much more is there?
There's another third of
Another
that.
third,
Yeah,
right.
so it's sort
Another
of...
one of those again?
That would be the middle.
Right.
And you get one
gorgeous.
either side. Yeah, it's rather beautiful. And it's quite a simple, quick make once you've got the pieces cut.
Is it?
Yeah. The biggest thing with this is there's quite a bit of fussy cutting, but once you've got that technique down to, it's good.
Which means that there's ample fabric.
Yeah, loads of fabric.
You do get a lot of fabric, and we have put it on an incredible deal for you.
I think there's 9 metres altogether in the kit.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So 9 metres of premium Leesa Chandler fabric with a little bit of a plain in there.
I think the project is something like 56 by 96 or something like that finished.
Ooh.
So it's big. It is big.
We've got the instructions somewhere.
Yes, I've got them. They're in it.
Yeah, yeah. Ginny's here. She goes, good morning to the Makes family. Auntie Lizzie's here. Good morning, everyone. That's pretty. It really is. Vam's here, and we've got various other people watching. Sue's here as well. This is, there we go, this is the project.
There we are.
Move that out of the way.
Weekend at Melba's.
So this is all based around Dame Nellie Melba, who leases her house. She's let's backtrack a bit, Australian opera singer. Not everybody will automatically know who she is.
They'll
Dame
think
Nellie
of Peach Melba.
Yeah, was, nice. Was an Australian opera singer, and Leesa grew up quite near her house and went round it often.
Yeah.
So knew the decor. And the Melba collection was, the idea of it was, what would the love child be if William Morris and Dame Nellie Melba had a night together? What would the fabric love child be? And that's how the Melba collection was born. So Weekend at Melba's is obviously based around that. So you've got this fabulous border stripe, which is one of my all-time favourite Leesa fabrics.
It's gorgeous, that collection.
And here is the fabric that you are getting with the kit. So the fans, because we want that Art Deco kind of feel. And then small floral. Stay tuned because I've got some other small floral for you this morning. But this is the tile print. And then you've got your plains there. But this is what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah, this is the star of the show, if you like.
You get a right big chunk of this. It's double-edged boarded, so this is folded in half, so it flips open and you get the same again.
You do, yes.
Going the other way, which means that there's lots of fussy cutting, there's lots of opportunities. Now, because Leesa designs her own quilts, the borders and the border fabrics, she's made these, she's designed these knowing what she's going to make with them.
Yes, they work perfectly for her fabrics.
Oh, they really, really, really do. They are just gorgeous. So we've got this quilt kit. Now, this should be, was over 120 quid, wasn't it? 125.99.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this should have been.
Yes, because as we said, there's 9 metres of fabric within the kit.
But Jane, it's Valentine's Day.
Have you done a nice little offer?
I've done better
Because
than
you
that.
love everybody.
I have done better than that.
Have you?
Yeah. 99.99.
Wow. That is good. That is good.
Now, on top of that, if you are a Natasha McCarthy Designs membership subscriber, premium one, you know, the one that pays a little bit extra so you get 10% off. you're still getting 10% off that as well.
Oh my gosh.
On top of that. So you will get a kit that should have been £125 and you will get it for not £125, for what does that work out at? 10% off 99.
It's just under 90, isn't it?
Yeah.
If my maths is correct.
So there's lots to love about today.
That is nice. That's a nice offer, that is.
It's all right, isn't it?
It's lovely. Lovely.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. And you can be making the full size. So this is...
Yes, you've got enough fabric in here to make the full-size quilt, which is 96 by 56, as I said. But there's also a little bit of the border left, and Leesa gives you instructions to make pillow slips that would go in the front. So there's a little bit of fabric left over to make pillows with.
I have just completely frozen.
Oh dear.
It's all right. I'll be back on in a minute. But it just means that we can show this. Now, if you are new to Leesa's fabric, and maybe you're going, well, actually, that's rather a lovely collection of fluff there, of small florals, and these are rather fabulous. These are absolutely brilliant.
They're beautiful blenders, and of course they've got the gorgeous metallics.
So I've bundled 3 together. We've never done this before.
That's a rather lovely bundle actually, because you've got the silver and then the ivory in there as well.
So you could work them together, or you could use them however you wished. Sorry, I've just completely crashed over here.
Want me to change your angle?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't need to change it. I just need to actually be able to. It just
Do something.
shut down
not-
while I was.
We're having a technical moment here.
We're having an issue.
So we've got the small floral pink ivory. This one's called Silver Rose, although it's all silvers and greys. It's rather fabulous.
I don't know why it's called Rose. I don't know why Rose ever got into the title. I'm very
No,
confused about
nor me.
that. I always
And
have
then-
been.
I think this one's just called Ivory. But it's got this beautiful... I love Leesa's metallics, and I don't know that the camera picks it up particularly. Oh, it's got it then. It's got a gorgeous shimmer to it. It's
So-
not... Some metallics you get, and they're there, and you can see them, and they're lovely. But they can be quite flat.
This adds
This has
$1 a
got-
price
yeah.
on per yard onto the print cost.
Yes.
It's the very last screen to go down, but it's I don't know of anyone's that is so shiny.
No. There's a
And so
definite...
fabulous.
There's a definite glimmer to the metallic on Leesa's fabrics. It's a depth of quality. The print itself has got a depth to it as well. There's shading and very subtle shading and little details. Above the flowers on this tile here, there's little speckles of metallic that look like little dust specks. And then it's got like a shading to the cream behind.
It's a bit gorgeous.
It's just, her prints are beautiful. They really are. And the detail in the flowers and the shading are just stunning.
It's right nice, right nice, right nice. Now, we have shown you, so you can get those, and they've got a discount on as well, because it's Valentine's Day.
Yeah, because you're
Karen's just
feeling
joined
the
us.
love today, aren't you?
Yeah, Karen's just joined us. She's just finished boiling the kettle, so that's why she's late. So Karen, you will not know that all of these fabrics, this beautiful kit, this mega kit, 9 metres of fabric in there,
Yeah.
your instructions are separate, is coming in at $99.99.
Because you've done a very generous discount
Should
on
have been
that.
£125. Yeah. But if you're Natasha Makes Designs Premium member, obviously you are getting a further £10 off that. Hurrah. Now, if you are one of the members, then today I will be loading this little project. Gemma, I've completely crashed. I don't know if you can drive anything. Thanks. Now,
I was showing this to the girls earlier because you were filming.
oh right.
And they wanted to get in here to get some craft stuff. And I said, you'll just have to wait because Mummy's filming. And they were just like, well, what's she doing? So I was able to show them because you'd posted a picture on them. And they went, oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a lovely reaction.
So, well, that's just it. I mean, you can put the button anywhere. I need one of those little pop things. I would
Yeah, like a
probably
press
pop one of
study.
those there. But this isn't going anywhere fancy. So you've got a little button at the back. But what it does, when it opens up, it gives you that heart. And I've just put pens in there.
Lovely. You could use it for your glasses, pens. You could put a gift in there, couldn't you?
You could,
Little
absolutely.
voucher, scratch
mean-
card.
You could just pop a popper on there.
Yeah.
It's entirely up to you how you want to do it. I put a button on because I found that button and I really liked it. Not going to lie. That's what I did. Initially,
Works, doesn't it?
I was going to have that as the lining and have it open out onto that. But then actually the way that it wrapped around, I was like, that actually looks like beautiful paving. So I'm keeping it like that. So the template and the instructions, I've done the video, that will go up on the site today. So if you need a
Lovely.
love gift today,
They could make that, couldn't they, this morning?
in
After the
15
show,
minutes.
obviously.
Yeah, obviously. After the show, do that. We have also got on the website still some of these little hearty pouches because it's Valentine's Day.
Don't have anyone more of this kit left, this
Not of that
fabric, but
colourway.
there's some beautiful mouse not working. There are some other beautiful kits within that collection.
Including some Robert Kaufman,
Yes.
a Leesa Chandler from the Project Panel in grey.
Yeah.
We've got all sorts in there and some Tilda.
It's these beautiful clasps. I think they're so lovely.
Really exquisite, aren't they? Really, really, really beautiful. So that's what we have got on the show today. Hooray. And at some point, I might actually be able to get in. I don't know what's going on with technology today.
It's having a moment.
Well, I might have upset SJ this morning. It's like, has somebody turned all the tech off? No, I'd lent on it.
Oops.
I'd lent the full extension plug has got like a safety
Yeah, switches on.
turn it
Yeah.
off. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd lent on it and not noticed and
Oops.
turned everything off. Should just set everything up.
Oh dear.
I know. Shall we have a little look at next week's? Well, I say next week's. This week's. They go
Tomorrow's.
live tomorrow. Thank you, Jane. Tomorrow. I'm glad you're with it today.
There's a first for everything, isn't there?
At midnight.
I love this fabric.
I only have 4.5 metres of this, and that's it.
We put that with.
Yeah, because look how that pulls the elephant. Isn't it gorgeous?
It's just beautiful. It's such a fun fabric. I see little girls' dresses with this. That's the Tilda Jubilee Circus
Circus Life.
in
yeah.
red, and this is cyan.
Yeah. It was just the right blue.
It is. It's perfect.
Because the thing that everyone loves in that fabric is the elephant. Although
Yeah,
there's so much to see.
Oh, there's so much going on. There's a monkey with a cup of tea that's being poured by the elephant who's standing on a tree with a cat swinging in it and a little girl swinging in it that's in a teapot. And the ballerina on the back of the dress is holding an umbrella and has an owl on her fingers.
Well, she does, but so she's got, and then that's balancing the teacup that's got the tree in it.
Yeah.
It all works so beautifully.
Oh, and there's a squirrel as well on top of the elephant's head.
Who doesn't need a squirrel?
That's just what you need. And he's got a jumper on, which is rather lovely.
We tried to describe this exactly like this the other day for Jimmy. And yeah, I mean,
Yeah. It's like something out of Alice in Wonderland, isn't it, really?
it really
It's a
is.
cheese dream.
A cheese dream, that is a thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is.
So only
It
4 of
truly is.
those. That's the last little bit of that left. We've got some more here. Is it a Lodi? A Lodi? Is that the
Elodie.
right- Elodie. Look at that. That's so pretty.
I
That
know.
is just classic Tilda, isn't it? This
Well,
is the
that's-
sort of print I think of when I think of Tilda.
That's why it has come back as one of the ones she's celebrating.
And is this our slate?
That's slate.
That
yeah.
works beautifully. This
Pretty,
blue
isn't it?
is just
Really pretty.
picks that up nicely. Gorgeous.
Gem, have you got mine's just crashed completely? Good. I'll put that there.
Uh-oh. That's all right if you
Did
both
you?
forget it.
But then you haven't forgotten. You've just put it in a safe place. Different. Gemma maybe bothers.
Well, yes. It'd be rude not to. Tigers.
You could whip him up a quick tiger pouch. That sounds wrong.
Tiger. That paprika.
Yeah. Yes.
Isn't that gorgeous? Picks up the orange. This is one of these fabrics that when you look at it from a distance is a stripe.
Yes.
There's such a stripe going on there. But this tiger prowling through the jungle is gorgeous.
It's got good movement, hasn't it?
It has.
And I love how you've got the leaves there that sort of echo the tail.
Yes.
It's just really nicely done. It is from Severnberry. So Japanese
it's got sort
fabric.
of a linen. It's not linen, but it has that linen-y feel to it.
Now, what do they call it? Broadcloth.
Yes.
That's
That's
it.
the word.
But
Beautiful.
just a lot of fun.
Imagine making a denim bag and opening it and this is your lining.
Yeah. I love it. It's made in Japan. I'm a bit of a fan of some of the Severnberry stuff. Some's a bit weird. We do rifle through and
Yes,
pick.
we pick out the nicer ones.
Yeah. But yeah, I think I was not getting away with not getting that, according to Gemma. This is one of the Sandersons.
This is the water garden.
And I have to say, this is one of Josh's favourites. He just loves fish. He loves the calmness of it. He just loves the colour of it. In fact, it's got blue and orange sort of golds in there. And I've paired it with, indeed, gold.
Voyaging Koi, it's called. Look at that with the gold. Beautiful. It's got, what's the fashion brand that does the saddle bridle pattern and everything? Is it Hermes or something like Versace? It's got Versace feel to it, to me.
Oh, that richness of colour. Yeah. It's Sanderson, so you know that it's an absolutely top quality fabric.
Oh, it's a beautiful base cloth.
Yeah.
Really good quality. Lovely print as well. Quality of the print's gorgeous.
It's the last of it.
Yeah, once it's gone, it's gone.
Josh wanted a beanbag out of it.
There wasn't enough.
I don't know.
No.
Probably not now. We've chopped it all up.
This is peacock plumes.
This is brand new in.
Look at this. It's gorgeous.
You know what I'm like for peacock bloom.
We love peacock feathers, don't we?
Yeah, we really do. I put it with the pink just to pull it.
Just because you could, and it goes boop.
Got it in 2 different colours.
Nice. I love this version as well. This is Wild Orchid.
Well, we've done, Jane, in the last couple of days, things that would look lovely with contrasts. So imagine this in that, and you open it up to one of those.
Well, just, buy all four. That's what I'm saying.
Would do the job, right?
Yeah, I'm just,
Would totally do the job.
nice quilt.
Yeah, job done. Gosh.
Sorted. That's rather lovely, isn't it?
Yes.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Now, those of you that didn't watch Monday, I don't know if we've got any of these left, but we did have these. So for those of you that are looking at the little pouch that I just made for Valentine's Day, this was the fabric.
I think there's limited stock.
Yeah.
There isn't much left, I know that.
But I just will flash that around just so that anybody
They're lovely duos, aren't they?
Beautiful. What else was there to show? Oh, it's like show and tell.
Quilted PU.
The quilted PU. I said yesterday, I wrote down accidentally that we had 4 rather than 40 because I'm an idiot.
Easily done. Just miss off the 0.
Yeah, so I might have.
Oh, you might have chopped into
I
that.
might have had a bit of that.
I was just going to fold it all neatly so it
Thanks.
looked back in the bundle.
Yeah, no, I had
I
a bit.
better not do that now because I'll just be like sending that out to a customer.
I made a little pouch out of that. But it just goes to show that the Valentine pouches
Yeah,
can be made out of PU. Just wanted to check.
gorgeous.
Yes, you can. So you've got silver, champagne, gold, copper and navy.
More than 50% of the stock that's gone.
More than 50% of it's gone. That's because it should have been £14.50, I think, or £14.99, and it's down to £9.99.
Wow.
So, these are some of our crazy deals. When they are gone, they are gone. I cannot hold them at that sort of ridiculous price. It's just because we loves you. And it's Valentine's Day, so why wouldn't you? I am going to go and skip into the corner, Jane, and let you
I'll
have
do a
the
bit of
room.
demoing.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. Gorgeous,
I know
gorgeous.
I can't change anything, so we are stuck on that screen. It's okay.
That's okay.
Skip around here.
As I said, we do quite a bit of fussy cutting with this pattern. And the first fussy cutting you do is with the tile print. And that is, I've done a bit of pre-prep, so I'm just going to do one block, as it were, really, and show you how to do the borders, because the borders are not complicated, but they're the most complicated part of the pattern. They're not complicated, they're the most detailed part of the pattern. A lot of it is fussy cutting. you take the tile print and you fussy cut your middle blocks. So you can choose. Leesa chose to do the mallow flower in the middle, which is this part. This is my offcut, so I wouldn't be able to get a square from this because there's not enough either side. So she chose this middle part here for her squares, and those are the squares I did in the back. But I also thought it would look lovely if you chose the Warrachars in the middle, which is that one there.
I'm just going to apologise for any rustling. But Gemma and I are trying to discreetly change over mics. I'm going to go and do some cutting. Gemma's going to come and do some button pressing.
Yeah, if there was any rustling then, that was just Natasha's bosom-age, which is, you know, very appropriate for Valentine's. Isn't
Yes.
It? Eh?
Oh,
Lovely.
Brenda got a gorgeous fabric today. Thank you. Our absolute pleasure, Brenda. And Josh, that's fine.
Hi.
Hey, darling. Hi.
Hi.
I'm on the very creaky chair, so I'm going to move off the creaky chair. Otherwise,
Good
every
plan.
time
Good
I move
plan.
in a millimetre, there's going to be a really loud creak. And that's not good for anyone's self-esteem, Jane, aside from anything else.
No, because you feel like the chair's going to collapse any moment.
And it is the chair, it's not me.
No, of course it's not. Of course it's not you.
So I've got to tell myself, it's not all, you know, all the birthday treats making the chair creak.
Now, you need 3 of these squares, so you could, because you get a good chunk of fabric with this,
You
a
do.
metre and a quarter I think it is, you could choose to have 2 of one print and 1 of another, or you could do like Lisa's done on hers and do them all 3 the same.
And Jane, how much is left over then if you're doing that?
Well, I'd got a lot of fussy cut bits and
Yeah.
this piece was left over.
Nice.
So that's a piece it's more than a long quarter.
So there could be some cushion action here, could
Yeah,
there not,
well-
to go with?
Well, also, when you're cutting the border, so fussy cutting this. Now, the thing I can't quite remember the size of the square. All the measurements, obviously, are in the pattern, but with your ruler, you can decide, and I do mine from the reverse of the fabric because you
Yeah.
can see the prints there. But let's say it was an 8-inch square.
Yeah.
You can line up your 4-inch mark on your ruler with the middle of your pattern,
Yeah.
and you can draw your line this side.
Nice.
You can then do it that side,
Got it.
draw your line, and then this side, draw your line, make your square,
Lovely.
and then place your ruler on the line and cut along the line. So that's how I do when I'm doing a big piece for fussy cutting.
Yeah.
If I'm doing a small piece of fussy cutting, I make myself a template out of some template plastic.
And Jane, template plastic's one of those things, isn't it? It's really inexpensive, but just when you've got it, it makes your life so much easier, doesn't it?
It does. And the thing with fussy cutting is the template plastic's great because you can see through it. Now, on my square, I've marked the diagonal line through both corners so that I can place my square. I've got a sort of an X marks a spot in the middle, so I can line my square up in the middle of the design and make sure it's all lined up in the corners here and here on my print. And again, I'll draw around that with my fabric marker, and then I'll place my ruler on the draw line and use my rotary cutter to cut the squares. So on the sample behind me, I use some of the tile print
Well,
to...
let's have a look at the sample behiund you, shall we? There we go. Now that I'm here and I can change the
You can
cameras.
change all the
There it
angles. So I've used my
Oh, Lord.
tile, my fussy cutting. This is from the tile print as well,
Yeah.
as is this one here.
Jane, that there is beautiful.
So
How have I never noticed that
I've-
bit of the fabric before?
I've used the tile print in the border as well.
Yeah.
Leesa suggests it in her pattern. So you've got your 3 Melba
Nice.
fans, you've got your tile print, and you've got some of your small floral left over that you can then use for your squares.
Oh, there's
in
loads of
here.
possibilities with that tile print, isn't there?
Yeah. And there's
Nice.
enough fabric because it says in the pattern on the back of it, it says 7 fabrics, I think, for the squares.
Okay.
Um,
And Jane, just while you're having a look at that,
yeah, 7 different small prints, and we've put, and it says fat 8, so we've put 3 fat 8s in.
Yeah.
you've got leftover tile fabric,
Yeah.
and you've also got some leftover of your small floral. So you'll be able to get all of your small squares out of those fabrics.
Fabulous.
But if you've got a bit of Leesa left in your
Wow.
stash, then you could use some of that as well.
And we don't have bucket loads of these kits.
No,
The
we
Melba
don't.
collection, I think a lot of people know that the Melbas,
It's coming to an
they
end.
are coming to an end.
It's so
So we've
sad.
already had someone say this morning, I thought this had all gone. That we're using this in this kit, but it's not something we're going to be able to replicate going
No.
forward.
And this is why we've
Fans.
only got it in one colourway.
Yeah, the fans are staying around. Lisa's going to keep the fans printing.
Yeah, because they're beautiful
but she's been
blenders.
printing this collection for years and years and years. So you see how adaptable the tile print is and how beautiful the border print is and the small florals, how they blend with everything. If you have a healthy Leesa stash, as many of us do, but you know, hang on a minute, there's items there that will look beautiful with my fabrics. It really is a last call here,
Yeah,
because what we have here in the UK is all we will ever have, or all anyone will ever have of the Melba, apart from the fans, I believe, is the case.
yes. Well, the fans are such a beautiful blend of fabric.
Absolutely.
And there's a mix in the fans with the silver metallic and the gold, so they go through both.
But you can put both
collections.
together, can't
Yeah,
you?
because I've got
You
there's
know.
some gold in there. The green's got the gold on it,
Yeah.
but the teal and pink have the silver on.
But it's really delicate.
It's not noticeable. It's
No.
just got that little bit of shimmer in there.
Really delicate and it looks beautiful. For those who are brand new to us, hello and welcome.
Hi.
If you haven't shopped with us before, we are Natasha Makes. We are here on a Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday morning from 10 a.m. But you can buy from us. If you go to natashamakes.com, you either click Workshop Wednesday or the Watch Live page. Make sure you click View All and scroll down.
Yes.
If you've already placed an order today and then you think, oh, no, I wish I'd bought template plastic. Oh, no, I wish I'd bought that fabric. You can place a second order.
We'll combine it.
Pop a little note on your notes section of your order to say, please combine orders. And Jane here, this one.
Me. Hello.
Hi. She'll spot that and she'll do a bit of maths and
Yes.
she'll see what your total parcel weight is and twiddly
Yes.
diddle.
And refund you postage if
if
it's
you've paid any
possible.
over,
Yeah.
she'll do you a little refund.
I can't combine orders from different days.
No.
So if you placed an order yesterday and you think, oh, they'll just be able to slip the pattern in from today into that parcel, we can't, I'm afraid, because the order sheets come separately from
They
a
do.
24-hour period.
They process as
system
batches, don't they? at
Downloads it onto our system for the warehouse, and the warehouse start more or less
It's a
straight
bit
away.
like Cinderella, isn't it?
Yeah.
At midnight, everything turns into a pumpkin and we all start again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you might receive 3 parcels on the same day, but they'll be from different days' orders.
And they'll have been processed in different batches.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Otherwise, we might just get ourselves in a real rubble and you'll end up with nothing. Talking of which, if anybody ends up with some glasses in their order, they might be mine.
Jane Specs.
I've lost a pair.
She's quite upset about this. They're brand new. She's lost her specs. Please do return.
I have got a spare pair, so it's not so bad. But the only thing I can think of is that they've either got knocked into the rubbish bin, which is possible, because that happened before,
Yeah.
or they've ended up in somebody's parcel.
Yeah.
Or we may find them on the shelf under some fabric somewhere.
They might be in amongst some fabric somewhere.
They'll turn up.
So yeah, just if you do
No, we
find
were
those
joking about it,
glasses-
weren't we, this morning, that it's probably in somebody's order somewhere.
And we joke about this, but it is possible. I mean,
It is
we are
very
all
possible.
menopausal here, so
Anything happens in this place. Yeah.
yeah.
So
no,
yes, no,
absolutely
we'll
that.
combine orders, no problem, from the same day. And it doesn't matter how many you do, 3, 4, it's fine. We'll just combine them all, check the weight, and we'll be able to refund any excess postage.
Well, I'll
if
tell
there
you who
is any.
doesn't have your glasses, and that's Brenda Walker. She says, "Morning, ladies. I got my gorgeous fabric today. Thank you." Well, you're
That's
very welcome.
good.
But no, she hasn't got your glasses by the sounds of it.
No.
She'd have said, "And some glasses." We're going to say Happy Valentine's Day to John because clearly Auntie Lizzie's forgotten. So happy birthday! No, Valentine's Day, even John.
Oh, bless
It's my
him.
birthday on Monday. I've got birthdays on the brain. And over on YouTube, we've got Anne with us. She says, "Morning, lovely quilt." Anne's in Cyprus normally. I'm presuming still. And Cynthia says, "Greetings, happy Valentine's Day." Greetings in Ohio.
Ohio, yes. Right,
Jane,
so
This bundle then, it's a move quick situation.
it is. We're limited stock because of the fact that this piece of border fabric,
Yeah.
you get a whacking 3 metres in here
Huge.
because, as we've said, that the actual finished project is 96 inches long. So You can see how that comes on my desk. It's twice the width of that, twice the length of that. And you're going to need to cut this border, the wide border, parallel to the selvage from your fabric before you start doing anything else. This border will be the width of the, or the length of the whole project. You will have some left over, but you centralise your pattern, centralise it from the Waratah to the centre of your project. In the quilt that Leesa does, these borders here are either side of the centre panel.
Yeah.
And so when you come to line up your border, you'll be lining it up with this point here
Okay.
on the centre, because that middle one will be the centre. Whereas on mine, I lined it up with the centre of this panel here because that was the centre of my quilt.
All in your instructions.
Yes, everything's...
And Jane, if anyone's ever got a question, you're only an email away, aren't you?
Absolutely, yeah. Same email as asking for your orders to be combined, info@natashamakes.com.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm there.
She's there. She'll answer
So,
your
you know,
question.
don't struggle with
No.
it.
There's no need.
There's no need.
Yeah.
I've made the pattern, so I understand
You've made
what
it
the
up, you understand it?
what the struggles might be, the areas that you might find that you don't quite understand. So don't ever struggle. If you're ever worried, and if it's one of our patterns or somebody else's that you've bought from us, I'll try and help you if I can.
Yeah.
So we've got Sangria, which is our plain, which I chose because I felt it pulled out the deeper colour of the pinks in the
It does
in
look
the
stunning,
fabric.
doesn't it?
And we've fussy cut our squares, and then we're going to frame it with our plain. So 1/4 inch seam used throughout. I haven't had time to change the thread, so we've got a lovely variegated thread.
Blue variegated thread, the obvious choice for this particular project.
But, you know, I always say that it doesn't really matter what colour your thread is when you're sewing
Not
with
when
your
you're piecing.
patchwork on the inside, because nobody's going to see it anyway. So we press all of those away. We do side and side and then top and bottom of the square, or top and bottom, side and side, whichever. The measurements are for the strips are in the pattern and beautifully described by Leesa. Now this then goes on point, and you've got your small floral fabric. And you'll cut the square to the size that Leesa states, and you can see when you cut those in half, through the one diagonal, like so. I've got 2 squares here. You then end up with your 4 squares which go round the outside edge of your main square. Now, the way to centralise these, this is the way I did it. I folded my square in half.
Sorry.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Little finger press to get a crease in that border there. Do that top and bottom to make sure they're lined up. So that's the middle of the square. Then I'll take my triangle and I'll fold that wrong sides together, point to point. So I find the middle of the long side, and again, finger press that. So I've got a crease in the middle of my triangle and I've got a crease in the middle of my square. I can then line up those creases, and I will know that my triangle now is sitting in the middle of my square. And I will just pop a couple of pins in there just to hold it down while I take it to the machine. Now be aware, you're working with this quilt, there's quite a lot of biased edges, triangles that you've cut in half or into quarters diagonally. So this edge is a biased edge, so it will stretch quite easily. So I gave my fabric a really good soak with breast press.
Nice.
You could use flatter, you could use spray starch, just to stabilise it, just to prevent some of that movement. It's still going to be a bias even when you've treated it, but it just prevents some of the stretch, reduces the stretch a little bit. So it's just a case of letting the fabric go through the machine. Let your walking feet pull the fabric through the machine. Try not to pull it. You know, some people like to get the back of their fabric and give it a pull as it's coming through the machine. Try not to do that. Just let the machine feed it through, and that'll prevent some of the stretch on the bias as well.
Natasha mentioned some plastic storage boxes yesterday. Just to confuse, those are Natasha's personal items. So when we have been storing items that are for the business, we borrowed a load of her plastic storage boxes that she'd got in bulk. She's popped those on Facebook Marketplace, I believe. So
Right.
yes, those won't be on the website. Don't be looking for those there.
And we're
They
going to
popped up for you, Jane, didn't they?
They did, yes, they came up on my notifications. And we're going to place another triangle on the opposite side. And again, I've just folded that triangle in half, so I've got the crease there, which lines up with the crease that I folded in the square underneath. And I'm just going to pop pins in. You can put more pins than I'm putting in. I'm just putting mine in just to hold it while I take it to the machine. If you want to put pins in all the way along, you certainly can do that. So we just...
I think Hearty Lizzie's got away with the Valentine's Day hiccup. John's just delighted that he's got a happy Valentine's from us and Julia.
Oh, bless.
That's all right. Share the love, won't we, Jane?
We do. It's not something that we bother with in our house, so... Right, so we've got both opposite sides done, and we're going to press those up and away this time. So I always press away from my square. You've got quite an overhang on here. You might want to press it so that it sits under the square. So in which case you'd have your square on at the top, facing forward. Give that a press, set the seam, and then you just move your square away, and that would press it that way. And then you haven't got this fold over underneath, because if I do it this way, what can happen, when I come to press that away, it starts to distort here because it wants to go that way.
Right.
So you just have to manipulate it a little bit and make sure you don't fold over more than your 1/4 of an inch either side.
Show it who's boss.
Yeah. And as I say, we're just pressing it, we're not ironing it because of the biased edge. So once we've got those two sides done, I'm going to fold it in half again, lining up the seam edges, finger press top and bottom, move that slightly there and there, just to get the creases. And then I can do the same with these triangles. Wrong sides together. Finger press there. And then I can line up that crease there and there.
It's so simple, Jane. And one of the things that I used to have a bit of a problem with was placing my pieces so that they were in the right position. And daft as you like, folding it in half, making a little crease and matching those is the simplest and best way to do it.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now then, I've lost a triangle somewhere. That's because it's here.
Hiding.
There we go.
Hiding under the pattern it was.
Absolutely.
We're just taking a moment to make sure that they're positioned
I'm just
correctly.
going to
Solve
check
them
that
later.
because
Look, she's checking.
it doesn't... Can you see how much I've got hanging over this side and
no, I
not
can't,
on the
'cause
other?
we're on the close-up cam. Hang on.
No.
We've got your beautiful blouse instead. There we are.
Just going to check that. That's better. I think I'd moved it.
It's all right.
You want at least a 1/4 of an inch either side hanging over the fabric. So that's your seam allowance, and that way hopefully the squares will line up. You're going to trim these squares down anyway.
Okay.
It's in the pattern. Now, Leesa's recommends that you read through her pattern thoroughly first before you start. She calls it the cuppa rule, doesn't she? Make
She
a cuppa
does.
and sit down and read your... You're getting a very good view of my back. And I would recommend it with this pattern. There are no specific cutting instructions. They are done step by step through the pattern.
Okay.
So it might be worth just reading through and maybe making a note of the cutting instructions,
Okay.
just so that you've got, because I don't know about anybody else, but I like to cut all my fabric first.
Yeah.
And then I've got it.
Yeah.
And then I can just get on with the piecing and making the project. I don't like to be stopping and doing a bit of cutting and then carrying on.
You've got me in that habit though, Jane. Cut it all, label it all, or pop it in little baggies so I
Yes.
know what's what.
That's how I like
Yeah.
to do my project.
Then I know where I'm at.
So I did make a few notes with this pattern. I read it through and made a few notes as I went along so that I knew what the cutting bits were before I started the actual project.
Oh, Cynthia says, I was today years old when I learned from Jane that finger pressing match points in a specific way will nest together, creating an accurate middle.
Yes. It's one of those things, isn't it? And you do it and then you're like, oh yeah.
That's pretty obvious when you know, isn't
Yeah.
it?
When you stop and think about
I
it.
did feel quite daft. Oh, poor Fiona's recovering from pneumonia. That sounds
Oh, that's no
delightful.
fun, is
Bless
it?
you. Get well soon, Fiona.
Yeah, I hope you feel better soon. Takes a long time to recover from pneumonia.
This is not all the fun, is it?
No.
Something else I've made sure is on the website today. For those of you who saw yesterday's zipped makeup box demo, oh, that was a favourite and a half, wasn't it? There was lots of you very excited about that one.
That was a lovely project.
A, the digital instruction will be up very soon, later today. And B, she says, come on, cameras, catch up.
Well, it goes slow today, isn't it? There we
It
are.
is,
We're just
yeah.
going to press it.
It's Valentine's, it can't be bothered. But also, we have now got the 12-inch length nylon zippers. So, yeah, if you needed a zip or several zips for your zipped makeup boxes, because I know some of you are planning on making several, you'll find those on the website. They're on today's collection as well as yesterday's, just to make life easier. Jane, that looks lovely on its own.
Doesn't it? Now, there's a...
Quick envelope, back one cushion.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Super.
Big
There's
old
an
cushion.
instruction in here that Leesa... I read, as I say, we read the instructions through first.
Yes.
And I thought, what on earth does she mean here? It says here, I'm just trying to find it now. Find the centre of each side of your, and centre the longest side of your triangles. Match the centres, pin carefully, so one at a time, adding opposite sides first. Press and trim each block down. Also trim excess background fabric from triangles from the back of the squares.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I read that, this is before I'd started making it, I was like, what triangles?
What you on
Because
about?
obviously, as I'm reading, I can visualise
Yes.
what things are.
You're good like that.
And I'm like, what triangles? What triangles are you trimming back behind? And then I made the project. And it's these triangles here. Can you see? So you'll just take your ruler, line it up with your 1/4-inch seam and trim those off. And it just reduces the bulk and this fabric here, which can then sort of fold itself back and cause
Yeah.
ripples and stuff like that. So it's just trimming those triangles away. But at first I was like, what triangles?
Because you can't imagine them being
No,
there
until you make it.
No,
So that's
got
just a little bit in the instruction that you might read it through and you might think, triangles? So you're going to trim this square back. So don't worry too much if you have this sort of thing going on here where the seams don't quite meet, because you're going to trim the square back to the size it says in the pattern. And you'll make 3 of those. Then you'll add, let me just look at this now, because you do it in a certain way and it makes perfect sense when you do it. Yeah, and then you'll trim, as I say, Leesa likes to do it each one. So the outer border, you'll trim off the 8.5, the wide panel on this print here. So you trim all of that parallel with the selvage to the measurement all the way along. So you've got 2 long length of fabric strips. And then you'll trim this border here and this border here. And you use this inner border, the middle border here. I don't know if you can see it on the pattern there. Oh, maybe we can go close up to Gems.
I've just messaged Natasha because there's a few people wanting to find these plastic boxes to ask her to send me a link to the Facebook advert. I can't do that at the moment because I'm teching this show, but if she can send it across to me, I'll pop it in the feed for you all.
That's nice. So you can see your square there.
Yeah.
You're going to put one of your strips, the sashing strips, on the top and the bottom of your block, top and bottom here. And then you'll add on the middle section of this panel.
Oh, it's beautiful, this, isn't it?
So it's that section. You'll cut a strip to the measurement that Leesa says, and like Natasha says, she's done her pattern, so it makes the most of the borders. So it's pretty much all you're doing is trimming off this little silver border here from both of them. You might catch a little bit in it, but it'll go into your seam allowance. So it's that middle section there that you then place against your square, top and bottom. Then you'll add a sashing piece on. Well, you'd have had your sashing pieces onto these squares here already. So each of your squares, you'll add your sashing pieces, top and bottom, onto all 3 of them. Then you'll add those 2 borders onto that square. And then you'll add this border, which is your thinner border. That one.
The middly bit, yeah.
That smaller one. And you add that onto the top of one of them and the bottom of the other. And then you can join those all 3 together into a row.
Lovely.
It's a lovely way of putting it together, actually. And then we come to the little side squares that make the long border that runs parallel to the centre squares. And as I said, I fussy cut some of my squares from the remainder of the tile fabric. Now you can see that piece there was left over, and that's a solid width of fabric piece. So in our scrap box, I've put all the rest of what I had left over, and I cut all these squares from that. So you've still got plenty within your fussy cut squares for the centre to do that with. And then I cut some of the small florals, and then I cut some of the squares. I've got all my bits under here. And then I cut some squares from each of the 3 colours. So I'd got a border, one with the Waratah in the middle. I think I've used that already. Or not. No, maybe I haven't cut that one. Just move these out of the way. Chuntering to myself now, Gemma.
That's all right, Jane.
That's
We'll
all
allow
right.
that.
We'll just use that one. But I had got 2 types. I'd got the one with the Waratah in, and then this one with the little bellflower. So I'd got 6 different types of squares, basically, and then I just ran those continuously in the same orientation. So you might just want to think about how you want to have those running through your border as you go. You might want to bring that one up there and have that one in. And I kept mine in the same orientation each time.
Lovely.
And then when I put it together, I put the one border starting, let's say I started with my pink, and then I had that one, and then I had my blue, and then I had my small floral, and then I had my green and this one. So the one border, I started with the pink at the top,
Yeah.
and then when I put the other border on, I put it the other way up, so it gave it another sort of
We can see
orientation.
that, can't we? When we have a look.
You can see
Yeah.
I've got the pink starting here,
Now you won't see the pink on the bottom, I don't think.
and it
because
ends
it's
with the
just off-
Waratah on this
yeah,
side.
We're just off screen with that.
But this one starts with the Waratah this side and runs through and ends with the pink on that end. Just, the borders are made exactly the same way, I just put them on in reverse. Just to add a little bit
And
of
that's,
difference to
It's all
it.
personal preference, isn't it?
Yeah, you might
Can't
want them
resist me.
exactly the
Yeah.
same. It's entirely up to you. Lisa's done the same on hers, she's twisted them.
Yeah.
So you'll see that
Nice.
on the pattern.
Really nice.
So you've got your background squares. And you take your square, cut the squares to the size it says in the pattern, and you cut them through to make quarter square triangles. So through one diagonal and then through the other diagonal. So you end up with four triangles from each square. Okay. And you'll take your fabrics and you'll sew a triangle to one side and to the other side, but they go in opposite directions. So you've got one that way and one coming down. And you'll have the overhang, but what you do is you'll line up your triangle so it sits, the right angle sits into the square, like so. Now these are both biased edges, and there's a reason for that, and I'll explain that in a minute. But you're going to sew down the one side. And you'll press that triangle away from your square. And then you'll
The
sew.
quilt's fallen down, Jane.
How very
All of a sudden
rude.
your bedrunner's just fallen off the wall.
Fallen off the wall.
Yeah.
And then you'll place the next one in that bottom corner and run it up. Oh, it looks like Natasha's got some goodies here.
I may or may not have been visiting.
Ooh. And we're going to press that one away from the square as well.
She's arrived at the right time. Tall person
Tall
arrives.
person to put the quilt back
Yeah.
up. Hey!
Bedrunner goes back on the wall. Very good.
So you're making this, it's like a trapezium, isn't it? That shape, I think is the word for it. I don't know.
One of them.
Yeah.
One of them.
But what happens is the straight edge of your fabric is now here. This is your straight edge. And what happens is you're going to join those all together like that. So what happens is the straight edge of your fabric becomes the edge of your border, which means there's less wrinklage when you come to join it all together. So you'll make lots of pieces like this.
I want to say that one's a rhombus.
Is that what the
I don't
word
think
is?
It's a trapezium. I think it's
No,
a
it's
rhombus.
a rhombus. I'm not very good at geometry, which is surprising, isn't it, really, when I'm a quilter, which is what you do
I'm
most
probably
of.
wrong. It's probably not a rhombus.
So you'll join all of these shapes to make those patterns. That one will go that way, will it? Have I sewn this one on in the opposite direction to the others? Yes, I have. That'll teach me, won't it? Right.
Claire Angelina says parallelogram.
That's it. Make sure that they're all in the same orientation, because that will not sew into the border with the others that I've already prepared. So let's just do that again and get them in the right orientation. and give that a press. Oh, God. Can you see what I've done this time?
What have you done this time,
I've
Jane?
sewed them together like that.
She's doing this to show you all the ways not to do
All
it.
the things that can go wrong with it.
That's
So we'll
all
just
right.
unpick the one side.
We said this yesterday and the day before, but you know, when you'll always have these things happen on camera. When you sew them on your own, all goes together beautifully.
Oh yeah, I didn't have any of this happen to me when I was making my sample.
Yeah, that's fine. Please. Natasha's in. She's causing all sorts of chaos.
Slash bringing fabulous bargains.
SJ is busily loading some bolt ends for us, so I'm just giving the bolt ends head up to anyone who's
Yes.
at home who likes a bolt end, because we know you do, and we don't get time. We just don't. And because I've relieved her and out of the room she's gone, she has managed to send some details to SJ. Also earlier I loaded up the half bolts that we can do for the Leesa Chandler. Now, it's a bit beautiful. That small floral, isn't it, Jane? Who
Oh,
wouldn't want
yes.
4.5 metres of that?
I was going to say, if you want to use that for the backing on your
Gorgeous.
project.
Yeah, now I want to
Fabulous.
say it's a bit more than the half bolt situation, isn't it? I want to say it's something like
Yeah, you'd
5
need
metres.
5 metres really,
Yeah.
minimum. If
So
you're taking it to your long arm, you'll need 6, but
potentially pop a note on your order if you do order a half bolt, and we'll see if we can add some additional units on and send you an invoice for the difference. I think we could probably manage something along those lines.
right,
Okay.
let's look at that. And
The
we'll
half
put that
bolts
there.
are 4.5 metres, which is lovely.
Yes.
But for this project, I think they need 5. I was just saying, if someone buys a half bolt, pops a note on to say backing for Bedrunner, then we'll look to do an invoice for the difference.
Oh, yeah,
so that we
brilliant.
can sort
Yeah,
that
yeah.
out for you. You have got some ivory silver as well in the half bolt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That stock that we have, I can honour.
And we were saying, really, you know, the Melba, it's on its way, toddling off, not going to be reprinted, a lot of it. The fans are staying, aren't they?
We're a fan of the fans.
We're a fan of the fans, and so's Leesa. But a lot of it, she's been doing it for a long time, hasn't she?
12
Melba?
years.
Yeah. So it's run its course, much to our distress and displeasure.
Well, there'll be different colourways.
They will.
There will be other things occurring.
She's got new things in the
Pipeline.
pipeline that we're very excited about. We've also got a discount up for Leesa cut to order apparently as well. That's good to know.
SJ and I have been shenanigating in the background.
So I hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Poor Jane's trying to do a show. Jane, what are you showing us, darling?
Well, I've made all the units in the correct orientation
Well
now.
done you. Excellent.
And now we're going to join them together to make that border strip.
Lovely.
So you've got all of these shapes. You'll do all of this with all of your fabrics first.
Brilliant.
You'll have decided on your orientation of your squares. So you'll have decided on the pattern that you're going to have and how they're going to run. And then you will have these in that pattern. And what you do is you take this block here and this unit here and you sew them together along there. Now, because we've pressed our seams towards the triangle, background fabric each time, when we put these together like so you're going to have your triangle on your square and your square on your triangle, we can nest those seams.
Even though they look offset when you
Yeah,
put them
they
like
need
that.
to be offset because that's how you're going to get your border straight. Again, as I say, you're working with a lot of biased edges here, so just take your time. Try not to pull your fabric. Now, you've got, in the pattern, you've got an even number of squares for each border. So you'll sew them together, all of them together in pairs. You'll press that one up. And of course, you can do the twiddle in the middle with these as well.
Oh, we love a twiddle in the middle.
So we can unpick these couple of stitches in the seam, top and bottom.
Jane,
on one
some may not be
side.
familiar with the twiddle in the middle,
The twiddle in the middle is a nonsense really, but it does help you.
but we love it.
We love it. It's very satisfying. You unpick the couple of stitches that are where those two, the triangle and the square joined, on the side in the seam allowance. So you've got your seam line here, and there's a couple of stitches there where they join. So you unpick them on that side. Might be one, there might be two, there might not even be any. And you unpick them on this side. And then when you come to press your seams, you press one up and you press one down. It forms a beautiful little 4 patch in the middle.
Which no one will ever see.
No one will see it because it'll be inside against your wadding. But what happens is it just reduces the bulk in the middle here where the seams all join. So I quilted on my border, I quilted down here and then along down there. So obviously when I'm coming down here, it was very easy for me to quilt across there because there wasn't very much fabric, bulk.
Yeah.
So if I'd have pressed my seams to the one side like I would do normally, you can see what a difference visually that makes already. And when I come down here, it would bump a little bit as I came across and might knock my foot a little bit and make my seam line a little bit wobbly. Not obviously, but it's a little bit frustrating. So by doing that, it just reduces the bulk in the middle there. And when it comes to the quilting, it makes it a lot easier to run your line down there. So you've joined all of them together in pairs, and then you will join your pairs together to make fours, and then you'll join your fours together, and then you'll join your eights together, and you'll have your border made, more or less. There'll be another pair, I think, to join on.
It's really effective as well, isn't it?
It's a
I love this
lovely,
border.
it's a really clever way of doing the border. And as I said, because we've cut the triangles into quarter triangles, the straight edge of the fabric is now on the outside of the border. So you reduce the amount of biased edge within the border.
Yeah.
So there's not much movement of the fabric.
Jane, I do love when I see an order come in and there's a little note from a customer. Someone who's placed an order for the quilt kit earlier and some other goodies has then placed another order and said, "How could I forget the pattern? Please combine." And that's absolutely fine. That's exactly what we're talking about.
We can do that, no problem.
We'll do it. We're all human, aren't we, Jane?
Yes.
And, you know, if you have placed your order and then thought, "Oh, I've forgotten the template plastic, or I've forgotten some more sewing machine needles, mine are, on their last legs." We do boxes of 100, all of that. The pattern, whatever else, bit of wadding. If you've forgotten anything,
Yeah,
don't think, "Oh, I'm not paying postage twice in one day." That's the point. Place another order, pop a little note to say, "Please combine my orders," and so long as
what
they're
I will
placed
say is you need to
today.
put a note on your order. We
Yes.
don't go through the order and
No.
say, "Oh, Mrs. So-and-so's put 4 orders in today, we'll combine those for her." If you don't tell us, we don't know, so we don't combine.
Exactly. Pop a note in the notes section of your order saying, "Please combine."
We may pack your order all in one parcel
Yeah.
on that day,
Yeah.
but we don't think about combining the postage.
No, exactly. We won't know to combine the postage unless you ask us. So, yeah, just make sure you pop that note on there. And like Jane said earlier, it does need to be on the same calendar day. Because
Yes.
at midnight, the orders export into a batch, and that batch is processed as a whole
day.
So we can't combine across batches. Hope that all makes sense. Jane, it's all coming along. Look at this.
So you've got your border now.
Beautiful.
Now, your border will look like that, and you'll be like, something missing on there. We've got to square this edge off. Now, this time we do a half square triangle. Again, all the measurements are in the pattern. And we just cut the square in half along the diagonal. So we get 2 triangles there. One will go at the bottom, and one will go at the top. Like so, and that squares off your border. And again, what you can do is you can just fold your triangle in half, give it a little finger press so you've got a crease in it, and then you can place that crease on the seam line there. So what will happen is that edge there at the top lines up, and you'll have your 1/4 inch seam overhanging at the bottom here.
Excellent.
And again, you can just pop a pin in just to hold it while you take it to the machine.
Jane, Chris has asked a question.
Yes.
Oh, and Auntie Lizzie's observed that you've got hearts on your blouse. Yes. Yes, yes. It's
Yeah, I don't just
Valentine's.
throw everything together, until I
There was some thought.
thought gone into that this
Chris
morning.
says, why wouldn't you open your seams to create less bulk, Jane?
You could open your seams. It's just I tend not to open my seams because if you're quilting in the ditch, you will quilt through that line of stitching and your needle may hit that line of stitching and weaken the thread, may even cut through the thread completely. It may not come undone immediately, but over time it's a weak point and it can your patches can start coming apart.
And some people do. They press all their seams open.
Yeah, and it's a
I mean,
preference.
dressmakers do.
Yes.
Quilters generally tend to press to the side, don't
Yeah.
they?
Because this seam now, with that pressed over to there, is actually protecting this line of stitch.
Yeah, let's show her that on the overhead. There we go.
So that seam goes over there and that protects that line of stitch I've put there.
Yeah.
So if I now quilt in my ditch here, I'm actually not quilting on that thread, I'm quilting in the crease next to the thread where the seam is. If I pressed my seam open, like so, I'm exposing
All
the stitches.
Yeah.
So if I now quilt in the ditch along this seam here, as my needle goes in, it can hit that line of thread,
Well, you're
the
sewing
stitches.
onto the stitches, aren't
Yeah.
you? Rather than onto any fabric.
And what can happen is your needle can cut that thread
Mm-hmm.
or it can weaken the thread. So over time, that seam will start to come apart. That's the only reason I press mine to one side. I'm not saying that pressing them open is wrong because it's everybody's preference and there's no right or wrong. We don't
That's
do
how you were taught?
we don't do quilt
Yeah.
police here.
No, we don't do quilt police. And if that's something that someone else
But
does...
that's the reason I
absolutely
press
fine.
mine to one side.
Yeah.
There is a reason for it, and that's the reason. But, we've all been taught differently. And when we were hand piecing, pressing seams open was different then because we'd be hand quilting as well.
Yeah.
So it's a different scenario.
Perfect.
So we place that one on there and we do the same. Just push, crease on the seam, line it up with the seam underneath. And then we're ready to go.
Great.
And that squares off your border.
I really like this border.
It's really pretty. And it gives a lovely effect. Let me just press that up and away. And that lines up then with the top and the bottom of your 3 panels of your squares. It probably won't line up with this because 1, I haven't trimmed it, and 2, it's not to the same size anyway. But what you will do is with your line of sashing, you'll put your sashing either side of your border. You'll sew those either side. Obviously, you're going to have to join the strips because the width of fabric and it's longer than the width of fabric. You'll join those either side, and then you'll line that up with that, and you'll join your border to the side of your 3 panels. And then it's simply a case of your wide,
Yeah, which is behind you.
the wide border,
The bit nearest the selvage, isn't it?
yeah, going on
Stunningness.
to the side there, which you'll have trimmed down already. So it goes
Lovely.
together quite quickly.
Yeah, you can see it on the wall behind Jane.
Yeah. The thing that will take you the most time is just putting this border together, and it doesn't take long at all. I wouldn't say it was a weekend project, but you get it done in a couple of weekends.
Yeah, lovely. Well, it's large though, This
It's
isn't-
big, it is big.
Yeah, it's not the technique that's causing it to take that time. It's just the volume, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
Now, I've only done very simple quilting on mine because I just needed to get it together, but I've just quilted like within the fabric along the seams. I haven't done any quilting on my pink borders. It all goes on the ditch on the inside. And as I say, I quilted this border. I started at the one point at the end and quilted up there, down there, up there and down. And then when I got to this point here, I just came back.
Oh, I
So it was,
see.
I was able to quilt all in one.
Oh, that's
line.
satisfying.
So there's no ends to tie in, which is always lovely.
Lovely.
And I quilted along the edge there. Now that probably isn't enough quilting to hold it.
No.
And if I was doing it, I'd probably do a bit of filigree
Well, quite. That'd
in
be
this
fabulous.
bit. Maybe, follow the shapes, because you've got quite a nice petal shape going on there
Yeah, that'd
within
be
that
nice.
area. And maybe again, you've got this lovely curve on this border here that you
Yeah.
could follow. That would be enough quilting on there just to hold it.
Yeah.
But you could have
Lovely.
fun with that.
Or you
Take
could
it to your
get
long
this
arm.
one long arms.
Yeah.
And if you're going to do that, we always say just have a little bit extra of your wadding and backing, just so
Yeah.
that they've got plenty to
Talk
play
to your
with.
long armour first.
Yes.
Because
Tell them the size of your project.
they will tell you how much extra they need of
Yeah.
backing and wadding. Some of them are able to supply it for you.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Because they have a preference to the wadding they like to use, and they have backing fabrics available as well. But if they ask you to provide your wadding and your backing, they will tell you how much more you need,
Yeah.
because of the machine, it needs to have, I think it's a minimum of 4 inches either side all the way round. So you do need a bit extra than you would do if you were doing it at home, because you only need a couple of inches when you're doing it at home.
Great.
But yeah, it's a lovely project.
It is.
Really
and
nice.
Jane, obviously you've made this fabulous runner and it's been beautiful and everything else. But this is Melba fabric that is not much longer to be with us.
No.
Unfortunately, she's discontinuing, or has discontinued the print on this particular beautiful fabric.
Now,
So
when you come to finish your quilt, you'll have double this amount of fabric of the border left over.
okay.
And in
Wow.
the instructions, Leesa tells you here how to make pillow covers with envelope back openings with the
Nice.
bits that you've got left over that match your
Lovely.
quilt.
But you will have a bit of tile print. You'll have some other fabrics as well. So maybe you want to patchwork some cushions.
You
know,
could
you've got
make
options.
cushions like that, couldn't you?
Yes, yes, you could.
Because you would have that extra. Look at this.
Hello. Now this
Is
looks
this
like a
flapjack?
full-size bunny, but this is a very baby bunny that
I
will be
know.
very,
Oh,
very
oh.
large.
He is 10 weeks old.
Oh, look at him. He's all on your mic now.
Yes, I better get all the
If there's a rustle,
squitching.
everyone will have to forgive that.
Isn't he beautiful?
He's very beautiful.
Look at those ears.
Chris Cresswell says it's really beautiful, and I think she meant the fabric.
Yeah.
But here we are. There's a bunny to be admired as well now.
There we go.
Enjoy.
Look
the
at those feet.
Oh, Lord.
Gorgeous.
I just got distracted. Bring a bunny in
Yeah.
very quickly.
Bring a bunny to
Thanks.
work. That's a new thing, isn't it?
Thanks. I know, we've got all the things. I've put,
Yeah, so you could do a
NMHQ
little bit of
today.
a border with your centre block.
Yeah.
You might need to buy a little bit extra of this fabric,
The small floral.
the small
and
floral.
We've got the trio today, the long
Yeah.
quarter trio.
So that would work.
Yeah.
But you would definitely have enough of your squares.
Yeah. Lovely. Lovely. Chris says, great demos, Jane, you make it seem possible.
It is possible, Chris.
It's possible.
It is possible.
Perfectly possible. Claire Angelina says, how much experience do you need long arming before offering us a service? That's just how long is a piece of string situation,
Yes,
isn't
it is, really.
You know, some of us would get to professional standard quickly and some would never, potentially. And that sounds an awful thing to say, but...
It's a confidence thing
it
as
is,
well,
isn't it?
because
Yeah.
the thing is, when you're quilting somebody else's quilt, it's precious.
Yeah.
Can't be replaced. So if you make a mistake on it, that's a lot of pressure, isn't
Yeah,
it, really?
Exactly that. And I mean, I think people know my previous history was teaching beauty and nails in particular. And, you know,
Yeah.
that's, again, a really precise art form.
Yeah.
And some people just practiced and then went, nah, I'm only ever going to do my own. I'm never going to offer this as a service because it's got to be exemplary to offer it and charge a decent amount of money for it.
Yeah.
And some people just took to it like a duck to water and produced stunning work really quickly and could charge for it straight away. So I don't think that's something you can put a time scale on when it's a creative skill like that.
No, absolutely
Um,
not.
But yeah, it's an extremely expensive piece of kit and it's a lot of hours of practice. and a lot of hours of working on your own projects. Jane, you've got a long arm.
I have.
You've got a lot of experience of free motion.
Yes.
You've had your long arm for a while.
Yes.
You've been practicing as much as you possibly can.
Well, not as much as I'd like to, but
as
yes.
much as you can within
Yes.
the remit. And you're not there offering it out as a service.
I'm not confident enough
No.
to do my own quilts yet,
No.
really.
No.
You know, I've got quite a few quilt tops.
Yeah.
And I still I don't feel yet that I'm ready to use my long arm on my own. I've used it on projects for here.
You have, yeah.
But I've done a
lovely job.
very loose meander.
Yeah.
And I'm happy with that at the moment.
No, and they've been lovely, but it's
Yeah.
not like piecing and sewing. It's a
No.
different skill entirely, isn't
yeah,
it?
it is.
One thing I will say as well is I've had quotes for long arming. I've had things long armed. Amanda's done some long arming for me. I shoot myself in the foot if she's watching. I do not think long armers charge enough. I just think for the work they produce, it's stunning. It's worth every penny. If you've created something you're super proud of and you want to get it long armed, absolutely go for it. But just bear in mind if you go, oh gosh, ouch, when it comes back and you see the beautiful work that's been done, if it's someone who's good, like Amanda is, no, it's worth
every penny of it.
And I look at it and I think,
I've got
I
friends.
want to put that work in for that.
I've got
money.
friends who are patchworkers, and they've been patchworking longer than I have, and they don't quilt because they don't enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
They take it to the long armour every time because they want the quilt finished, but they don't want to quilt it themselves. And again, patchworking and quilting can be two different things.
Well, you go to Festival
Don't
of
beat
Quilts.
yourself up if you don't like quilting. It's
You
not.
go to Festival of Quilts in August, you have a look around the quilts, and how often do you see, when you look up at the competition entries,
Yeah,
pieced by,
quilted by. Yeah,
two different people?
yeah,
Two entirely different people, because it's such a different skill.
it is.
But yeah, I mean, lovely. Great to have the opportunity.
It's a lovely
to give
feeling
it a
of
go.
accomplishment quilting your own quilt. It really is.
Yeah.
And some people, like you say, take to it and they just do it and they don't think about it. And then other people don't enjoy it. It's too much for them. They don't enjoy hauling a quilt through their machine for a start, because it can give you backache and neckache and all sorts.
Mm-hmm.
And don't feel confident enough to do it. There's no rule. You do what makes you happy. And the whole point of patchwork and quilting is it's supposed to be enjoyable.
Yeah. No, exactly that. Claire Angelina says, my closest long arm service is an hour away. Yeah, I mean, mine's a couple of hours away.
They
which
do
is worth
post.
it.
I mean, they will take postal.
Yes.
I mean, obviously, you need to have
You
it special
can.
delivery and all of that, because if it gets lost in the post, you'll be. But
you can
quite
send them by
often,
courier or
I know,
post
I
them.
do know that Amanda has people post quilts to her
Yeah.
to be long armed.
Absolutely. Oh, hello.
Hello.
Lady with a box.
Lady with boxes.
No, we spoke about these the other day.
You need to get your face in Jane's chest with the best will in the world, Natasha.
Well, I stand like
Speak
that.
nice and loud. To be fair,
You don't
can-
need to
as long as
actually,
you're
does
near
she?
one
She's
of
got a
us.
lovely clear
no,
voice.
she was sat near me earlier and everyone heard her beautifully and commented on the fact she's got no mic on.
Oh.
So long as you're near, you'll be fine.
We commented on these the other day. We said these are my own. So these aren't going through Natasha Makes because they're mine.
Yeah.
They're not the business. But as crafters, sometimes we need stuff to store stuff in.
Absolutely.
And I've had a lot of these in my time because I've had a lot of craft stuff in my time. So I do have quite a few of these. I mean, to give you an idea, I've already sold 50.
And it's not put a dent in it, has it?
No, even remotely. But the deal was, because we've been having a tidy up and a clear out, the boys want a Nintendo Switch. So I was like, right, you tidy it. So they've sorted all of these, they've stacked them and everything counted, sorted. I was like, any money that you get from these will go towards.
That's a nice way of teaching them that everything has a value, isn't it?
Well, they can't just keep having, it's not a thing.
No.
They're not on the Natasha Makes website because they're yours.
Because they're mine. Yeah. So the best thing that
personal
we can say is if you email us at info@NatashaMakes, and I'll just send you an invoice through PayPal. It'll just be a custom one. The big ones here, these ones are £2, £1.50 and £1.
Oh my gosh, that's so cheap.
I know.
I know how much these cost.
They stack as well. Well, like
Same sizes will stack.
Yeah. Well, the smaller ones will stack as well. They'll go. like that.
Yeah.
Oh, Jane, I did not know.
Oh, did you not?
No!
Oh,
Look at the face.
How did I not know this?
I didn't know that you didn't
Well, now
know
she
that.
wants to keep them
Sorry.
all.
No, I didn't know. But that's genius. So yeah, they are, and so you can always get your hand in, which is great. And we've had them, we've used them, we've stacked them, and now we don't need them.
There will be some sticky label on them here and there.
There will be,
Yeah, well, some of them have got a little bit of wear
Yeah.
and tear damage to them.
Yep.
but that's why they
They're
are the
very
price they are.
sensible.
And you-
Isopropyl alcohol, actually. If you can get rubbing alcohol,
Rubbing alcohol takes it all
we'll
off.
get the sticky off.
Yeah.
When they're stacked, Tash,
Yeah.
there's still that little gap at the front so you can dive your hand
Yeah, no, that's
in,
what I was just
you know,
saying.
it's-
Absolutely. In fact, let me see if I've got another one.
Yeah.
To hand somewhere.
So they are useful. And they're useful in a garage,
They are.
you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
Got
they
your
are.
DIY bits and bobs. We've
Yeah.
got some.
And if you're a scale modeller as well, they're really
Yeah.
handy.
We've got some. Karen says, I have a long arm machine, but I'm still very much at the practice stage and potentially always will be at the practice stage. That's fine. It's all about
But you do
enjoying
have fun
practicing.
practicing.
Yes, exactly that. Sue Langford says, I'm going to book on a long arm course in Gunners Lake and you can hire their machines once qualified by the hour. That's a nice option, isn't
Yes,
it?
it is.
It's a
Yeah,
good thing
so you
to
can
go
take your
yourself.
project there. And you've also got the reassurance then of having the expert with you should something go
Yeah.
wrong that you're not quite sure how to
That's
fix.
the fear, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
can get over the fear and it's your own fear,
Yeah.
then all is good and well with the world.
Yeah, and it's like anything. You don't know what can go wrong until it goes wrong, and then you don't know how to fix it if you're on your own.
Quite.
Unless you watch our shows, in which case you'll see all the stuff go
Yeah,
wrong.
right,
And then
absolutely.
we'll show you how to fix it.
We've just
That's-
proved it today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one.
There
Yeah,
we go.
I did exactly the same, Joe,
Yeah.
and sewed something around completely the wrong way. Happens.
It happens. Right, shall I show them these bolt ends?
Yes, so my thought process here was, because it's Melba and it's got that Dame Nellie and William Morris kind of feel, I've bolt-ended some of the William Morris. There's also a bit of Juicy Juice in there because I promised that the other day. And there's a little bit of Leesa, just cause.
Just cause.
I
why not?
preempted this might happen, Gems, and I did check and did take some off that was...
SJ's loading, so I'm going to completely put my hands up and say, not my problem.
No, but
Not my circus,
I
not my
have looked.
monkeys.
I have looked. I did look. Look at this. Beautiful Morris. This
Oh,
is
let's
the
have a
Golden
little-
Lily and Sunshine.
Overhead peak. I want this one.
Yes.
If it hasn't gone.
3.2 metres.
Yeah.
3.2 metres. I love this
Beautiful.
fabric. And this one is the Strawberry Thief in olive.
I thought there were enough for quilt backing because
Yeah.
they would be gorgeous. I mean, that's upside down, but it's still gorgeous.
Yes,
either
I
which
keep
way.
forgetting that we see it the same way as everybody else.
We had to do very special things to get our cameras to do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's gorgeous. I mean, cushions just on their own. Never mind quilt backings. You could fussy cut this. You could make...
You
The
could
m-
make that quilt
Yeah.
with that as the centrepiece.
You could.
Was my thinking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Beautiful.
Gorgeous. I love the Strawberry Thief. Such a classic print. And this Golden Lily is lovely. I love the colours in that. So you've got those two pieces. Then we've got a nice bit of the Sleuth Dotty. It's like Morse code, isn't it? This?
Yeah.
Running down. 2.55 metres of that one. That is a beautiful tealy blue colour. Rather
Stunning.
gorgeous.
Stunning.
Look at it with that.
Gorgeous.
Nice. And then we've got the Dotty as well. And that's in like a plummy colour. That's lovely.
Really nice.
Aubergine. And there is 2.8 metres of that one as well.
And these are nice for dressmaking as well.
There's a little bit of the stripe teal pink there. Just a 70 centimetre piece.
That'd make a great project.
It would. Look at that. That's lovely.
You know, you're making a bag or something like that.
Yeah.
Or some
Borders
cushions.
on cushions. Really nice.
You've got a bit of patchwork going on and you think, oh, I've got fabrics that go with that.
We've got gum leaves mint here, 1.9 metres.
Love the gum leaves.
That is gorgeous, the mint one is. It's got the tealy colour in it as well.
It is pretty, isn't
And
it?
it's got a lovely gold metallic on there. I think it's the gum leaves coming to an end as well.
I'm not sure about the gum leaves.
I have a feeling
I've
that
got
some
a
of them have
feeling
been
the gum leaves
discontinued.
hasn't been around for a while because when Leesa was with us, she saw that we've got a particular colourway and she's like, I haven't had that for literal years. Oh no.
Yeah.
How have you got it?
Green and ivory, this one.
Yes.
Again, it's got the gold metallic on it. Stunning.
We mustn't be too distraught about the discontinuing of some fabric collections
No,
from
because
Leesa, because she's got exciting things coming.
She has.
It's just can't keep it all printing all the time. She needs to.
We've got some of the William Morris here.
Lord.
Natasha's cut that in
That's the small
2
bellflowers,
pieces.
isn't
Small
it?
bellflower in the like mustardy yellow. They've called it yellow, but it's more of a mustard colour.
Yes, beautiful.
2.75 metres of that.
Lovely big
I
things,
love
isn't it?
this colour. I love this fabric. I'm a bit of a Morris sucker.
Well, and also mustard and grey is not going away. That seems to be very popular.
No, it's still
all
very
over the shop.
popular.
So it's a great colour to have in.
And then there's a little bit of mallow in navy here.
Oh, I love this.
Exactly 2 metres of that. That is lovely.
I didn't know we
That's
had any of that
lovely.
left, Jane.
There is a small amount, just 2 metres. And then we've got the half bolts, haven't we, of the...
We have got some half bolts. These are not half bolts. These are
No,
just the
these are
fabrics
just to show you. That's the grey rose, and that's the ivory,
And you will get 4.5 metres of that fabric.
which is on a very special
It
offer
totally
price.
is. It totally is. They are, crazy, crazy price.
Lovely.
To put this in perspective, I think a half bolt, where are we, should be, it's about £77 or just going on for, and they are £59.99.
Wow.
Which reminds me, Jane, today's kit, we do have very few of those left. Now, you are getting, I think it's 6 metres of Leesa fabric and 3 metres of plains, isn't it?
Yeah.
Crazy amount of fabric. That kit should be £126. We have it at $99.99, which is a huge discount.
Yeah.
We also just need to remind you, if you are a Natasha Makes Designs premium member and you put your code in against that product, you will get another 10% off.
Wow.
So you are going to get it for around £90 for 126 quid's worth of fabric.
That is good bargain.
It is a fabulous buy. And you might make your beautiful Bedrunner here, but if not, they are big old chunks of Melba fabric that will not be around for very much longer.
No, this is
It's a
true.
great way to buy it, pop it in your stash, because once it's gone, it really is gone.
Gone.
We will not
Yeah.
have more,
We won't
because
have
Leesa
more.
isn't printing it. So anyone who perhaps wasn't with us at the start of the show, we don't do this very often, where we put a whacking great discount on a kit and say that the subscribers discount will work against it as well. It's there.
Nice.
It's
It's
for
lovely.
the taking. Enjoy.
Make the most of it.
Jane, next week you're going to be playing with some new fabrics that have been
I
teasing
have,
people.
yes. I've got the lovely Andover
You have the Rene
Rennie Nanneman. I couldn't think of the lady's name
That's
then.
fine.
I was
Rene
like,
Nanneman. It's the cottage cloth
I wanted
too.
to, yes. And it's
cottage
just
cloth
beautiful. It's that lovely fabric.
too. We played with cottage cloth, didn't we, when it first came out?
Yes.
We did a fabulous quilt. And then she's brought out a second collection. It's 24 new fabrics. New
Fabulous.
colourways.
Yeah.
We do have a bundle up on today's page as well of those 24. So if you bought, because a lot of you did, just buy a bucket load of the cottage cloth because it was stunning.
Yes.
If you want the 24 new colours, you can buy those, and they're in a long quarter bundle. If you buy 2, you'll get half metres.
Yes, we'll
and
cut it
so on.
continuously. Yeah.
We don't have infinite amounts of fabric.
No, because I need some of it.
Jane needs it for quilt kits, so grab that quick because it will get taken down to make Jane's quilt kits for next week.
Yeah.
So that bundle is there as well. And your discount will work on that too, subscribers. And there's
Yes.
already a discount on it. I mean, I
Amazing.
can't say fairer than that, can I?
No,
Half Metre Heavens go live at midnight tonight.
they do.
Oh, tomorrow they'll be on the website if there's any left. Friday, you'll have your Friday newsletter come out.
Yes,
Our
lovely little deals on there. Keep an eye out for that.
We'll all have a rest over the weekend. I'm sure there'll be shenanigans and things popping up all over the place for you to have a look at. And then Natasha will be back with us on Monday and Tuesday next week, and Jane on Wednesday.
Lovely.
It's all going on, Jane.
It is.
Let's go round again.
Do it all again.
Auntie Lizzie says, beautiful show. Chris says, I enjoy quilting, but I'm not very accurate yet and I get disheartened. However, I love free motion.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I mean, a lot of people fear free motion and never give it a go.
Well,
so well
Chris
done,
is an artist, you see.
well, there you go.
And I think
Exactly.
people that can draw quite enjoy the free motion because they've got that freedom of, and they can see the patterns as well, I think.
Exactly
Yeah.
that. Yeah. And Pat Adams says, just enjoy what you're doing. It's totally, totally right. I'm losing my voice.
It's going, gone.
That sounds like a lady who needs a peppermint tea.
Yeah.
So we will go and do that, and we will see you very, very soon. Take care. Thank you for joining us. Lots of love. And
Bye-bye.
bye-bye.